Thank you all for being here and for the work that you do within our correctional institutions as well as all the parts of the system. We all have to work in it together. Secretary, I asked you this last year. I thought I'd follow up on the general population and the work per hour paid to inmates when they are not working. Do we still, it's still on the website, so I'm assuming we still do it. And my understanding, if reading it correctly, up to 9 months can be paid if they can't find, if we can't place them in a job, is that?
Correct.
And what is the purpose of doing, because it's, according to what it's described, is we're basically paying them to have, it's listed as clean hygiene, making their beds, behaving themselves. Why we do that?
Yeah, idle pay, because we were the ones who couldn't get them a job.
Right, but they're in prison, so they're not there to be in a job. So I guess I'm trying to understand what the.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some real expenses that 17 cents an hour offsets for them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's we're talking about 17 cents.
No, I understand it's minimal. It's the idea of it. Do you know the total cost?
I don't, but I'll get it to you.
Okay. Right now, do you know what the ratio our COs to inmates are?
It's about 5 to 1.
And will that change if we bring in new other states?
Would depend on how many.
Okay, so do we plan on, when we bring in those other states, inmates possibly, which is a good, it makes money, so I understand why we're looking at it. Will we be bringing on more COs, or will we be doing it with the COs that we have?
It depends on the circumstance and how many you bring in.
Oh, okay,
So like right now, a bunch of them are at like SCI Phoenix. We're already staffed for that.
Okay.
They're filling empty beds that are already staffed. So in that case, we didn't have to add any staff.
So just depend on where they're being placed necessarily? Okay. Is 5 to 1 typical for state or nationwide, or is that are we high or low, or?
There's we'd be in the top 10% as far as in the good way.
Okay.
And I think we're lower now than we have been in quite some time. I think in my time, we've never been this low, and a lot of it is because having less than a 1% vacancy rate has helped that.
Okay. And I want to go to a little bit, as you well know, I have Camp Hill in my district, and so correctional officers see everybody at Camp Hill with the ability for everybody being classified. So we brought up nurses a minute ago, and obviously, as you mentioned, everybody that's inside the walls are our staff and their safety. So I know that when we had some issues with nursing and being assaulted, you made some positive changes to make sure that that one-on-one does not happen any longer as well. Can you talk a little bit about, because one of the issues that OA's data has is that our statewide, not in corrections, reported that workplace injuries has gone up from last fiscal year 225%. So I'm sure the COs have a tough job, and I'm sure that workplace incidents happen on the grounds. Can you talk about what steps have been taken since Sergeant Basserman's death out in the SCI and protecting our staff inside the walls?
Yep. So I would also say our numbers are up significantly, but when you send 48 people out in 1 month for the exposures, that all goes on the workman's comp books.
Okay.
So we're probably a big contributor to that 225% increase. A couple things. One, training, staff training. We've made significant steps in expanding, especially defense tactics coupled with verbal de-escalation. And scaled that system-wide, and also made it available to all staff, not just security staff. I think from a intelligence and analytics process, we've made significant steps forward in predicting violence. So you may be aware of, like, New York City uses CompStat, right, to predict incidents. We'll have the first correctional version of that hopefully up and running next month.
Okay.
We meet now every Tuesday with all the facilities and go over intelligence and share intelligence system-wide. So we're doing a better job of predicting when issues may occur. Using analytics, we now have an analytics department under our internal affairs.
Okay, and I appreciate that, and I know that you're very active nationwide with many of the other correctional secretaries as well as other agencies. So I appreciate bringing in something from other states that have worked well. One of the questions, and it has been brought up about the instances with the substances coming in, and I thank you for taking action and making changes to protect the staff within the institutions. were any of the inmates' rights compromised at any time by the things that you did?
Don't believe so, no.
I didn't think so. So the changes that are being taken, you have a couple moving ahead that you have in the future with the visiting rooms. Could you expound on that a little bit?
I'm not sure.
I thought aren't there still outstanding some changes in visiting rooms? I was reading on the website that there were some additional things to be done in visiting rooms.
Yeah, just not all the scanners. The scanners actually have to get certified by DEP. So
Okay.
we're at about 2/3 of our facilities.
DEP?
Maybe even more than that.
The scanners have to be approved by DEP?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
body scanners, yes, they do. Yeah.
Okay, all right, that didn't seem to fit there. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I just would add, I appreciate all the work that you have done on all the criminal justice reform, and I appreciate working with you on it. Thank you.